Hi, it's Tovah Feldshuh, and you're listening to the Dave and Creech Show.
This is the Dave and Creech Show, the only podcast where podcaster CJ Creech and actor Dave Sheridan come together to talk all things entertainment with your favorite entertainers. Want to ask our guests a question? Tweet them to @DaveSheridan or @CJCNOV88, and they may be asked to our guests live on the show. We do have to ask you stay seated during the podcast because this ride may get a little bit hilarious. Now here's your hosts, Dave and Creech.
Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 19 of the Dave and Creech Show. I am CJ Creech, and I am here with your co-host, Dave Sheridan. Now, we've got another great, but yet short, episode for you this week. And some of the things that you've got coming your way are an exclusive interview with The Walking Dead's Deanna, a.k.a. Tovah Feldshuh. We're going to be talking all sorts of weird and exciting news and entertainment and around the world, including Bam Margera. And lastly, which actually, ironically, we're going to start with first, we're going to address why this episode is going to be a short one this week. So, Dave, what all do you have going on?
You know, I have to pack, by the way.
Yeah?
I got to pack. I got to get to the bank. I've got to do some prep stuff. It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. You probably won't be listening to this until far after Mother's Day, but we are recording this on Mother's Day. It's Sunday. It's May something. I don't know.
Yes, it is May 8th.
May 8th, Mother's Day.
Well, I think you forgot to mention that the reason for this short podcast, Dave, and everything else that you mentioned in here is because you're traveling to LA to shoot a part in a pilot for Netflix. Now, why don't you give us a little bit more of the details about that?
Yeah, you know, and I'm just going to shoot one little scene with Jeff Garlin in this, some film that he's shooting, that he's directing, that he wrote and he's going to star in. I was in his last movie, Dealing with Idiots. So this is one little scene, but he promised me and tells me that my role will be bigger in the next movie, and that it's this character that I'm doing. It's going to transfer into the next character, and this scene the same scene that we're shooting this week will be in the second film as kind of a cross-reference to this original film. So there are murder mysteries, and they interweave or whatever. This is more comedy. I would think it's going to be more in... I know nothing about it. I don't know if we're saying it's a comedy like Columbo, or is it a comedy like The Pink Panther, or is it a comedy like Starsky and Hutch, the Ben Stiller show. I don't know how. I don't think it's that comedic. I think it's more, it's more like I think it's closer to a Columbo or not House. What was that one that was like Columbo with Tony from Galaxy Quest?
Are you talking about Monk?
Monk, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know I don't know anything about the movie we're shooting, but I know that it's not going to be Inspector Clouseau. It's not going to be Mr. Bean of detectiving. It's going to be some sort of, oh, I just did it. You can drink. Just to let everyone know, we're playing a little drinking game here. Hold on, I'm going to drink. If I say which I'm trying to get myself out of saying it as we podcast, we need to up our game, Creech. We need to start becoming more professional, more professionally spoken, try to work on our own professional broadcasting standards here of how we talk. And I think when I say, and I say it too much, it just, I feel like it takes away from our podcast having a sort of more uniformed, broadcast-oriented sound to it. If the listeners are coming in now, we've decided to do a little drinking game of anytime I say, there'll be this sound, and that's when you could take a shot. And who knows how many. I guess maybe at the end, Creech can count them all up and when you finalize the edit and stuff, you can maybe put some final situation in there. Maybe just put a bunch of at the end so people are just, drinking a lot. You know what I'm saying? The end, at least, people will be like, holy crap, I drank a lot, There you go. Boom. Ding. Okay. So we bounced around already a little bit. So we're at episode number 19. We got a pretty good show. But like you said, it's going to be a little short and sweet because I have to pack my underwear. I got to make sure I pack. I definitely have travel. I travel light, first of all. Let me tell you that. I don't like having to shove a bag up into the upper part of my airline when you get there. I don't like trying to get in the overhead, and I'm not the kind of guy cramming something in there. I also don't like carrying it past people and hitting their heads or anything like that. I'm really self-conscious of that. And then I just don't like carrying a heavy bag through the airport. But I don't like checking it because I don't like going down to the carousel and having to wait. I like getting off the airplane and going. So definitely lean and mean, a little duffel bag or a little backpack. And I only pack for 1 day less if I'm going there. So I have my travel clothes for that day. In this particular case, I'm going for 1 week. So you're going for 7 days. So therefore, I count, say I travel on Monday and I'm flying back on Sunday. Monday, I'm going to wear the same clothes on Sunday. So then I only need 5 days of clothes. And I need 5 underwear, 5 socks, 5 t-shirts, and I get like 1-2 pairs of jeans. I'll like opt to do those every other day, but I have to get a pair of shorts because it might be hot. Then you have to have a long sleeve shirt and maybe a jacket, and then you got to have your toothbrush and ding, you got to drink. Yeah, and then your opiate, your Percocets, you have your Ambien, your various prescriptions. You know what a prescription is? A prescription is a letter the doctor writes to the pharmacist that says, I got mine, now you can get yours. That's what a prescription is. Get that joke?
Oh, I get it. It's, that was just cringeworthy at best, Mr. Sheridan.
Because the doctor got paid, and then he writes to the pharmacist, I got paid, now you get paid. Yeah. But you don't know. Oh, ding. This could actually work out to be a good drinking, Ding.
If people actually partake in this, they are going to get shit-faced.
Yeah, well, if there's someone that actually wants to drink to it, I don't know which one of our listeners is that. That kind of scares me to think of some of the fans I already know who are out there at the same time.
Just looking for a reason to drink.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've sent a lot of people. I've ruined like 10 years of therapy and a lot of great work that other people have done by creating a drinking show. Way to go. I'm going to get a lot of hate mail and hate posts from other people's sponsors who's I've gotten off the wagon and stuff like that with my frivolous drinking game. Okay, so here we are, episode 19. So who are we going to interview this weekend?
Well, this weekend, or week, however you want to classify this podcast, we are interviewing Tovah Feldshuh. I actually had a chance to catch up with her at Walker Stalker Con Nashville. Hey guys, welcome to the Dave and Creech Show. I'm CJ Creech and I'm here with the lovely Tovah Feldshuh. I got it right that time. How are you doing today, Miss Tovah?
I'm doing great. It's wonderful to be here in Nashville at its first Walker Stalker convention in this vast, lovely space.
Now, I know you've done quite a bit of singing. Is this your first time here in Nashville, or?
No, I was here for a film festival, and it was at Vanderbilt, which is a marvelous university. And I was escorted that day to that film festival by Josh Bergener, one of my son's best friends. My son is named Brandon Levy, and they went to collegiate school for boys together in New York. And Josh Bergener still lives here, now with his wife Lindsay and his daughter Charlotte Louise, and they're expecting another baby, and we're having dinner tonight, so there you go.
Oh, that sounds like you've got a great night planned ahead of you.
I do. I love that boy. I've known him since he's a little boy, and he was wonderful. I love his parents. So it's a great opportunity as we go around the country with these Walker Stalker conventions to reconnect with the fans and to reconnect with friends should we have them in these various cities.
Definitely. And now you've done stage plays, films, and television. Is there any of those mediums that you enjoy or get the most out of?
I just enjoy a great part. Give me a great role. I'm currently doing the part of Leona Helmsley, who married Harry Helmsley. She was they were real estate moguls in New York, and she is worthy of a musical. So I'm doing a musical about her, and I'm doing Crazy Ex-Girlfriend on the CW channel with the wonderful Rachel Bloom. I play her mother. She's Rebecca Bunch, and I'm Naomi Bunch, and I sing. I sing a 5-page solo called Where's the Bathroom? It's ridiculous, but a real good antidote to the sadness of having to leave The Walking Dead.
And speaking of The Walking Dead, how was it after being, I guess you could say they kind of killed you off. They didn't show it, but then couldn't come back as a walker. How did that process go?
It went very well. It was meticulous like everything The Walking Dead does. I was sent to New York to get special contacts, custom made. We discussed and did trials on the makeup, both for the wound, the bite, as well as becoming a walker for a couple of days, literally. And then we did 2 days with huge amounts of prosthetics and special effect makeup. And Greg Nicotera and his team are utterly remarkable. Everything, every action we take in life is the opportunity to create a work of art. And The Walking Dead tries never to miss an opportunity.
And I will say your performance on The Walking Dead was definitely a work of art. You got to display a broad range of emotions. Is there any scene or any time on the set that you recall that maybe meant the most to you?
Well, what meant the most to me was to be invited to join the cast. And what meant the most to me and was the saddest moment was when I was told not to get a long lease.
And what was the most hectic time on set? I mean, it seems like the last episode, the mid-season finale, seemed like that was a pretty fast-paced shoot. How was it to film your final last stand?
Well, I'm sure it's a tradition on The Walking Dead because I was able to benefit from it. After all, I was on season 5 and 6 when it was already established as the #1 cable show in the world. So I was joining a roller coaster that was already at the top. And on my last day of shooting, of principal shooting now, when I came back as a walker, the entire company showed up, whether they were working or not, to watch the final scene and to support me. And you can see just by the way I'm talking to you, I was incredibly moved by that kind of generosity of spirit which permeated the entire cast for my entire year with the company. I think Andrew Lincoln is one of the most remarkable human beings I've ever met, not just an artist. And his respect for his fellow man and woman infused the entire set and trickled down from him and the wonderful and thoughtful Scott Gimple right down to the people cutting the lawn. As a matter of fact, Andrew Lincoln would get to the set early so he could greet everybody in hair, everybody in makeup, give everybody a hug. He would go greet the lawn keepers, the set people. There are 300 people related to the running of The Walking Dead, from scenic designers to costume designers, assistant, I bet you Andy Lincoln knew them all and knew all their names and paid them honor. And so nobody wants to leave The Walking Dead. Who would want to leave The Walking Dead where you're treated like royalty, whether you have one line or whether you dominate an episode?
It does sound like the TWD family is, in fact, very real. And it's also fitting, I think, that you're next to your sons here. Have you been able to catch up with any of them so far today?
Totally. I am very good friends with Austin Nichols, who plays Spencer and will be, I bet, on a rise for season 7. Keep your eye on that gorgeous boy. And on my sweet, ill-fated Aiden, Mr. Bonjour, So we're put here purposefully. We are a family. And at the moment, Spencer's all that's left of us. So be brave, Spencer.
All right. Well, before we let you go, I know you mentioned the projects that you're currently on. I know you also have some social media channels. Do you want to promote those in case anybody out there isn't already following you so they can keep up with everything you got going on?
Thank you. I think my tweet is Tovah with a V. And I know if you go on Instagram, I'm on that. And, of course, TovahFeldshuh.com. Next Saturday, April 16th, I will be in New York at the Symphony Space singing wall-to-wall Stephen Schwartz. I'm bringing back the number I did on Broadway for Stephen Schwartz in his remarkable musical Pippin. So I'll be doing that next Saturday night, and I look forward to it. And in June, from June 5th to June 19th, I will be bringing my biggest hit from Broadway, Goldust Balcony by William Gibson, to Toronto. Again, check www.TovahFeldshuh.com for all the details. Any of you who are hearing this who may be north of the border or near the border, come be with me for it became the longest running one-woman play in the history of Broadway in 100 years of theater. And I will be resurrecting it and bringing it to Toronto for 2 weeks.
All right. Well, thank you again, and make sure you check out Tovah, coming soon to a city near you. All right. Welcome back, guys, to the Dave and Creech Show. It's kind of different this time. We switched our format around since we usually do the news before the interview. But this week, honestly, just the flow of it seemed a lot better if we did the interview at the front. Once again, as Tovah was saying, if you want to follow her, you can check out her social media channels at Twitter and Instagram at Tovah with a V. And you can also check out her website at TovahFeldshuh.com. Now, we are going to head over and start our news for the week. And this first one, Dave, is actually one that I've had for quite a while. I don't know why it took me so long to do this one. I've had it saved, the link, for a while, but it's actually very interesting. It could very well change the way that movies are seen. And I'm talking about blockbuster movies. So yeah, let's go ahead and discuss.
Don't they already do that? This isn't there? Have you ever heard of this? Like, it's like a black box that you can buy, and you can get movies in your house. Any movie that's in the movie theater in your house, and it's an expensive box. It's only really, really rich people, really, really rich people. But I think they spend like $100,000 on this per year, or something like that, where they don't have to go to the movies. You know what I mean? They just have all the movies, anything that's in the movie theater they have to them, because it's literally just like whatever is in the movie theaters they get, because they're paying for it on this black box. You know what I'm saying? And they can't get into the black box. It's just their screening room. You know what I mean? That's probably where this guy got the idea, because they already have something like that. So they'll charge you about $150 for access to the set top that transmits movies and charge $50 per view. Individuals briefed on the plan said screening room would charge about $150 for access to the set-top box that transmit the movies and charge $50 per view. Right, so to get the box will cost you $150, which is nothing. A TiVo cost more than that when it came out. And then if you wanted to rent it, you could pay $50 to rent a movie. Consumers have 48-hour window to view the film. That's perfect, because I got to be honest, I spent $31 for my son and I to go see Jungle Book. And that was with IMAX.
Yeah, I know, and I think that's where it's going to wind up helping a lot, because maybe one, sometimes two people, would be pretty cheap to go to the theater, but families, everything adds up. I mean, that'll cut down, especially when you come to the concession stand, so you're not spending $60 for a large soda and $25 for a box of M&Ms.
Right. If you had a family of 6, if you had 4 kids and mom and dad, and you wanted to see, a movie that weekend, and you had popcorn and you had a sleepover with more girls or boys, you want to have a birthday party, it's worth it, So the 150 plus a few of those, you don't have to do it all the time, but if you did that once a month, the 150 would eventually, because yeah, it's definitely the money you would save on, and depending on where you live. If you live in LA, you pay for parking in places, you know what I mean? And just driving somewhere. And if you can watch it, it says you have a 48-hour window to view the film. Can you watch it? If you can watch it more than one time, that would be great. You know what I mean? The problem is with his deal, though, is if I had a really, 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 really nice setup, right? And I had a really nice setup, and I just said, okay, I'm going to rent Star Wars Rogue One when it comes out the day of. But I got a tripod, I got the tits-ass $15,000 HD camera. I've got the sound going directly into a board. I could get a really nice copy of Star Wars and get it out on DVD the next day. You know what I mean?
All right. The next one we're going to talk about, actually we're going to play a really quick soundbite here from Bam Margera on the show Family Therapy.
Bam had this show, and before I knew it, he was like able to have a show about anything that he wanted on the whole planet, to be a reality.
He could have done anything, but what he chose to do, the majority of it, from what I understand, were pranks on you and your husband.
Right. When Bam was younger, Phil kind of started the little pranky thing.
Like if I was walking into my room, he'd like be hiding behind the door and then go, ah,
Yeah. The sneaking up on them when they're sleeping, taking them to Incinerator Road. Incinerator Road was kind of like the scary, spooky road. So he'd take the kids, and then, as you're driving through Incinerator Road, he'd put the arm out the window and bunk on the roof. Dead people falling on the roof. And it really affected him.
It sounds scary for a little kid.
As I'm talking about it, I'm almost thinking, oh my God. And so he does things to me because I was at work and I didn't know they were in Incinerator Road. Is that correct? Holy
Family Therapy with Dr. Jenn. Is that a woman? Is that her first name?
Yes.
Or is Dr. Okay. And is she
Dr. Jenn
so
is
she's
a woman,
one of these
yes.
Dr. Drew. She's one of these famous doctor things,
yes.
right? She must have had a talk show or something, or a radio show, I don't know. And on this show, live in this house. Run me through that. There's some different families living in this house together, making cheese sandwiches at night.
Yeah, there's like
talking,
5 or 6 quote unquote celebrity families are here at this house to do therapy and try to solve their problems. With Bam's being his addiction to alcohol and drugs and depression.
He's drugs and alcohol? Just basically he's his addiction to partying. Is that what you're saying? Because partying makes him feel better than being depressed. Is that basically what you're trying to say? He's got depression issues, so he likes to party because partying makes him feel good, which is why it's called partying. Is that what you're saying? He's got addiction to drugs and alcohol, which are generally used for
Well,
partying,
no,
right?
he's depressed over the loss of one of his friends who died in a car crash a couple years back.
Yeah.
Called Ryan down. He was some jackass.
Yeah, we know Ryan. We know very Ryan. And that was sad. That was definitely sad.
That in turn led him to just going, to drugs and drinking hardcore and to dangerous levels. I mean, I met Bam in 2013. And went to one of his concerts and got to party with him a little bit afterwards. And, I mean, by then he was already pretty rough. Really rough.
Right. And was that before or after Ryan's death?
That was after.
Okay. I think he was... I've known Bam since 1995, okay? He was like 13, 14. If Ryan didn't die, he would still be drinking very hard and smoking very hard and whatever else... popper pills he wanted to do really hard because he was already doing that in 2004. I don't think... Now, did Ryan dying help in any way? Of course not. Of course it didn't help, but he was already doing it. Don't blame Ryan's death on it. Or
Well, I don't know.
Well, hold on. Hold on. I'm going to go back to the TV show because I don't know anything about this TV show because I don't have cable. Dr. Jenn, is she hot? First of all, is Dr. Jenn hot? Does she have big boobs?
I don't know about that, but she actually is she's pretty attractive, actually. I do find it weird how, like, in the past couple of years, it's like most of the people from Jackass, there's at least been 3, now with Bam, and then another one of his friends, Brandon Novak, and Steve-O, that have all been, battling drug addictions, and now they've been sober now for a while. Bam, actually, obviously they won't reveal when this show was shot. Because it's not being shot live on tape, or it's not probably within the past couple months, because there was a picture of Bam that got released this week, and he's actually looking pretty fit now, considering that in the show he almost looked just a little smaller version of his father, Phil, because he was actually, had all the beer weight, beer gut, and everything on it. So...
Yeah, but let's go back to the show really quick. So how many families are on this show?
It's like 4 or 5, and they're quote unquote.
Who are the other families? You're saying you got the Lohan parents.
Yes.
But Lindsay's not on the show, right?
No.
What does that yes mean? Is Lindsay on the show or not on the show?
No, she's not on the show.
Oh, is her sister on the show?
Just the parents.
So it's just her parents.
Yes.
That's not really a family therapy if the kids don't show up, is it now?
I agree. It's kind of technically theirs would be more considered couples therapy.
Okay, couples therapy. There's nothing wrong with 2 couples, but they're divorced too. I think it's just 2, parents that are just like who already parasited off their talented daughter so much that they're going to do even more for another $500 a day on this show. How can we just drain the last piece of water? We're squeezing this freaking sponge. Come on. Nobody cares about the Lohans. The parents.
Yeah.
They caused it. Did they take any blame for what they did to their daughter on that
show? They
do.
Well, it seems like in the show they're coming to the realization that they did, at least. I don't have the show live either, so I usually get it either through Hulu or I download it.
And so Bam said one of the issues is that his dad tickled him when he was young. Saying his dad abused him.
He used to pull pranks on him. Like, they'd take him to this place that apparently was haunted, and he would, tap on the roof or whatever and scare Bam and stuff like that.
Oh, God. Oh, the poor guy. What a
just like
wow, man, what a
just
tormented.
Pretty much stuff like that happens to pretty
tormented.
much anybody, I would think. But it wasn't like, hey, Dad, I'm gonna go prank you.
That's what's known as having a fun dad. You know what I mean? Come on. Now, he had a very good family, but I know exactly where they grew up. He grew up very close to me. He's in Westchester. It's white trash, man. We're white trash. You know what I mean? It's white trash, and it's what white trash do. And you should just embrace your white trashness, and just know that part of drinking and smoking and doing the meth and the speed or the crank, as we would call it. You know what I'm saying? Listening to a little Led Zeppelin, some Journey, having a van with shag carpet and the mag wheels. This is what we grew up. This is our lineage. You have the tattoos. Come on, you know what I mean? We're rednecks. We're white trash, and that's the reason you drink and smoke pot and swing from a rope into a river. You know what I mean? And you have cut off jeans for shorts. This is who we are. So I think his dad was fine, and they're a very good family. They don't need fixing. They need to just drink a little bit more and have a good time. Everything in moderation to an extent, but what do you want to live till you're fucking 67? You know what I mean? 65 is a good age. 67 is a good age. 72. You don't want to be older than 74. Once you're older than 74, you're just an old person. You're just an old person at that point. You're peeing 20 times a day. You know what I mean? Your knees hurt. Your back hurts. You're forgetting things. you're just starting to be a little bit of a burden on your kids, I'm sorry. And the reason you're becoming a burden is not because they have to take care of you, but you just ask too many questions and you forget things, but you just want too many questions, too many answers. When you want to make a simple lunch plan, it turns into all of these like detailed things of, well, where do you want to meet? Well, where's the parking? If I leave at this time, it's like that's what old people become. You know what I mean? When you get to that's the early stages of becoming a burden on society, just over planning things. You know, just driving that little bit too slow. Not so slow that you've got the giant steering wheel and you're just ahead. You know, God forbid, I wouldn't want old people to get to that. But just slow enough where, you know, you forgot you had your right turn signal on for just a little bit, like half a block. And, you know, you don't remember a Walgreens being put there 2 years ago. When did they put the Walgreens there? You know, it's like, when you're at that point, please stop, because you're annoying your kids. Because you're going to overplan a brunch or meeting up at the church or whatever it is, you know. Better park on the other side of the parking lot. I thought I told you we're going to meet here. You know, let's just say this way. If you're a parent out there and you have kids, if you have a flip phone, I don't know any parents. First of all, if you're listening to my podcast, there's chances are you're not just someone with a flip phone. But if you are a person and you're wearing Dockers and you're wearing some sort of comfortable shoes like Clark's and you have a flip phone, I believe that you're in that stage 1 burden of your kids and of society. And I believe that it would just make it a lot easier on all of us if you just kind of knew you were old and partied, man. Just go drink. This is the age where they're like, I'm not drinking anymore, you know, because I have a pee-pee problem, so I don't drink. No, I think that's the age that you should drink, and you should drink a lot, like leaving Las Vegas a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the age that you shouldn't say, I'm not going to swing from that rope. I think you should swing from the rope, and I think you should probably break your back, and hopefully you're done. Like go out, man, go out and don't get all. You know, what's the word I'm looking for? Hey, there's lots of drinking in here, by the way. You got the game going. You know, I think if you start to slow down, you become old, and you do this sort of sauntering off into the meadow. Well, all you're doing is sauntering off for other people to take care of you, mainly your kids or your grandkids, and you're draining your own inheritance, and you're draining your kids' inheritance, and you're draining just society's money too, with Medicaid and all that other stuff. So, and Social Security. I just think that anyone 67 or older should be really putting the pedal to the metal, living hard, man. Jack Daniels, take some pills, do some lines of coke, take a lot of Viagra, get a boner for 4 hours, and bang the shit out of whatever you can, and hopefully have heart attacks, and just go, you know, because that's the easiest way for us to eliminate a big portion of our society that's sort of draining on us. You know, don't get into those polyester pants with the elastic waist and the comfortable shoes, and then over planning things and making your life of your kids that much more complicated. We got to meet here. Are you meeting here? Okay, I'll call you when I get there. And what should we bring the food, and what can I order on here? Is there an early bird special? Oh God, right? Do you understand, Creed?
I do. Your long-winded explanation, I completely do.
So that is what I feel about Bam Margera's family. Who else is on that show? So you say the Lohans, and then you say the Margeras. Who else?
The Margeras are.
Who else is on that show?
There's the Dash family, like Damon Dash, the Rockaway or whatever.
Nope. Who are they? Who are the Dash?
He was like runs Rockaway or whatever. Right. And then it's these chicks from 16 and pregnant.
And they're not obviously 16 and pregnant anymore, so they're probably 20. So, so some girl from 16 and pregnant. That's how low the show is scraping the bottom. She was 16 and pregnant, and now she's what, 25?
Yeah, they're scraping the bottom of
Come
the
on,
celebrity.
man. Have a
Of the celebrity
little
pool
bit.
there.
I mean, first of all, you and I have a podcast that I do in my underwear out of my bedroom. So I guess this girl that can be on Therapy House or whatever you want to call it, Dr. Jenn, sure, I can't complain. But I wouldn't call it. You cannot. Don't. There are too many talented people that even did one or two movies that they should not be inflicted to have the girl that was on 16 and pregnant be called a celebrity, right?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, she's not a celebrity. I mean, she got knocked up at 15, became 16 and pregnant, and now she's 25 and miserable, right? So, all right. What else is in the news?
Looks like the last one that we'll cover today is going to be the Nile of Boaty McBoatface.
Boaty McBoatface. Boaty McBoatface was rejected as the name for the new polar research ship. You know what? I think that's bullshit. What do you think?
What do you mean? That they rejected the name?
Well, I think you don't put it out there as a contest to come up with a name and then have people vote on it, right?
Well, yeah, it was like...
And then when it...
Yeah, I mean, the internet trolled pretty hard, because you could write in the name, and of course, Boaty McBoatface was the one the internet wrote in. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't feel that it was really fair to even have that contest if in the end they're like, no, it's not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have a contest and say, oh, nah, we're only joking. Oh, we're gonna name the lifeboat another tiny little ship on there, Boaty McBoatface. But do you know that Carnival Cruise Line or Norwegian Cruise Line, they hired the guy that named Boaty McBoatface. They hired him to name one of their next ships.
I didn't actually, but they already have. They have the ecstasy and the names like that. So I mean, it's.
But maybe they should just take Boaty McBoatface and say, hey, you know what? If you guys didn't want it, we're gonna call the one from New York Harbor that goes down to the Bahamas to Freeport. We're naming it Boaty McBoatface, and they could do that. I mean, obviously they get a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for?
Publicity?
Yeah, publicity. If these people don't want it, that's a great name. It's more deserving of a big boat. I like it being big, not a little lifeboat that's on the back of a research vessel that's up in the North Pole anyway. As if anybody's going to see it. What do you really care about Boaty McBoatface being your name? It's at the back of a boat that's up in the North Pole that's probably covered in ice and icicles.
Yeah.
The word is covered up. You know what I mean? So it's like... Yeah, wouldn't want that seal or that polar bear to get embarrassed by Boaty McBoatface getting stuck,
I guess they're just preparing just in case there's any aliens stuck there like in the John Carpenter's The Thing. They don't want to embarrass our first meeting with apparently intelligent life that wants to kill us.
I actually think that'd be an icebreaker. No pun intended. So, oh, my wife. Even on Mother's Day, no support. What? I gave you kids. We went to TCBY. We got like a free 6-ounce thing on Mother's Day, and then we came home. My son, there was another one, wasn't there, Mom? I could have dressed as a transgender and tried to, because our kids brought home things for Mother's Day that. The free coupons. It was like a Mother's Day card with a coupon, free for 6 ounces of TCBY. We took one there, and then we were like, I wonder why Rocco didn't get one, and then we found his was in his book bag. I probably could have put a little lipstick on.
Yeah, I put on my book that Chick-fil-A was giving away free Mother's meals, and there were some people that actually were kind of didn't really read into that too much and drove up to there to find out that it was closed since Chick-fil-A's are closed on Sundays.
Oh. Hey, where's the free Mother's Day thing? Yeah, because Chick-fil-A, if you dress like a cow, you can get a free meal. I don't know when that is. It's in the summertime at some point. 1 week. Hey, remember that, Laura? Yes, you do. My wife got the date wrong, and we rolled in dressed as cows, me and my whole family. And they said, no, that's next Tuesday. And I'm like, oh. But we got our free meal because they were like, you dress as a cow, we're gonna give you the free meal now. I was like, can I at least get an ice water or something? But that's typical. We were the wrong day dressed as cows 1 week early. But here's the thing: we got the free meal that day, and then we went back again dressed in the same cow outfits. And we always go through the drive-thru. We're not really full cow. We're just kind of like half cowing it, from the top up. But they say, are you full cow or half cow? And we're like, oh, we're full cow. Because what are they going to do? Like peek in your car? That would be embarrassing, though. You're full cow and I'm not full cow. Well, I think once again that was a relatively short show. We're kind of getting into May. School's almost finished. There's a lot on my plate, so things might shorten up a little bit just because it's it's summertime. We're heading into summer. But I think once we get those summer blockbuster movies really rolling out, we're going to have things to talk about. Okay, man. Well, that's episode 19. I wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. And hopefully we have you back for episode 20.
Got him! Got him!
Shut up and sit down.
Thank you for listening to the Dave and Creech Show. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Dave and CJ. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of Creech Creative Productions or any of its affiliates.